Number one, question number two, and the job here is to create a bunch of descriptive statistics for each of the two columns of data. So we would end up basically with some means and medians and then some variance and standard deviation. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this box out of the way so you can sort of see what I'm doing here. So we're going to end up basically with this information. So we're going to calculate a mean, we're going to calculate a median for that column, and we're also going to calculate variance and standard deviation for this column, and then we're going to repeat the whole thing over here for the other column of data for task B. So just to kind of make this a little bit more straightforward, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the data over here and then deal with all my efforts at computation in this part. Okay. So the first thing that we need to do if we're going to do these calculations in long form, which is what you need to do for this assignment, actually the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bar there at the bottom just so we can kind of keep track of where the data ends and where my calculations begin. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do in order to calculate a mean, if we use the long form, is we need to calculate a sum of all these response times. So what we do is we insert an equal sign which tells Excel to expect a formula to come after. And so the formula is going to start with a built-in Excel function called sum. And so I'm just going to put it in parentheses. So the function sum expects what's called an argument. And so the argument essentially is a range of cells. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the range of cells. Now the way that you can highlight a range of cells, you can do it in a couple of ways. You can basically just drag down the window or the highlighting until it highlights all the range of values that you want to sum. So if I do that and oops, I do that, then it does the sum. Now if I click on this, I can also do it another way, and I showed you this way in class, but I'll just show you again here because it's my preferred way. Click on the first cell in the range, then hold down your shift key, click on the last cell in the range, and this I find to be much more accurate and easy to do than trying to drag things. Dragging things is kind of painful sometimes, especially if you have a long set of columns. Okay, so I can just hit return, and that will make that function calculate the sum of all these response times. So the sum is a pretty big number. Now I'm going to make this a little bit bigger here so you can see better what's going on here. So maybe make it a little bit smaller. So the sum is the first part in terms of calculating the mean. The second part is we have to actually take that sum and divide it by the number of scores. So I'm just going to write a little thing out here just to kind of so we can keep track of what we're doing here. And I'm just going to move that over to the far side there. Okay, so we're going to calculate the mean. We're going to put our equal sign in to tell Excel that we're going to do a little bit of math here. And I'm going to select this cell because it contains our sum, and then I'm going to divide it by, and we have 24 values for response times, so I'm just going to type 24 in here by hand, and then I'm going to hit return, and voila, it's calculated the mean response time. Now you can also do this with the built-in Excel function, and the built-in Excel function is called average. Spell it correctly. There we go. And again, it basically operates in the same way. It needs a range of cells in order to calculate a value. So if I go up here to the top and then I highlight my last cell here and hold shift key, I highlight the whole range of values, and then I can hit return. And you'll see that it produces the same value. One thing that's different about the two values is that one is rounded off to 2 significant digits, and the other one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 significant digits. We can alter the number of significant digits somewhere up here. Oh, there we go. And I'm just going to do that there. Voila. So that's the mean. Not too complicated. The other value that we're going to calculate is the median. And for the median, I'm going to cheat. I told you you could do this. You could actually just use the built-in function for the median. So it's equal to, I can't type this morning here, here we go. It's a median, and again, it requires a range of cells, so we're going to start up here at the top. And we're going to put in our last cell here, so we have got the full range. So from O2 to O25, I'm going to hit return, and it's calculated the median. And you can see the median and the mean are pretty close to each other. They're not radically different. The mean's a little bit higher than the median, which indicates a little bit of skewness in the distribution, but not a lot. Okay, so that's pretty easy. So those are measures of central tendency.